The Animal Protection Party of Canada, formerly the Animal Alliance Environment Party of Canada, registered in 2005. The aim was to win airtime to discuss items that other parties may not raise during the elections. Liz White, the leader, was unsuccessful for election in the 2006, 2008, 2011, and 2015. More often than not, Liz received less votes than the Communist Party of Canada. But Liz does have a heart, and she's very aware of the seal hunt, and as part of that, she supports a boycott of the Canadian seafood industry. I'm a big seafood fan. That's why I can't really stand behind you, Liz, on that one. The second one that she got involved with is a campaign against the sale of dogs from Winnipeg City Pound to Animal Research, and I'll come back and talk a bit more about that one. Third, she was one of the women that drafted the anti-cruelty bill, amongst other things, called for living animals to be regarded as living things. The bill passed the House of Commons twice, but was defeated in the Senate in 2008. The journey to amend animal cruelty started almost 25 years ago. To make a long story short, after almost 25 years of attempting to amend the criminal code, John Barden, a Liberal from New Brunswick, tabled the bill and ultimately passed to the Senate and to the House and was enacted in June of 2008. So honestly, I don't ever see a day where the Animal Protection Party of Canada becomes a governing body over the country of Canada itself. But that's not to say that Liz White's contributions haven't made an impact. Liz White, born in 1950, assumed office in August 2nd, 2005, as the leader of the APPOC, or the Animal Protection Party of Canada. Currently, she has 14 party leaders across Canada, so she's grown a party from 1 to 14, and they advocate on behalf of animals and the environment. If you'd like to learn more about Liz White and the Animal Protection Party of Canada, just simply Google the Animal Protection Party of Canada. They have a website that is quite detailed and it lists all of their candidates and their agenda on that. So let's give Liz White a call in Toronto and see if we can't catch up with her and find out what their plans are for this upcoming election. Welcome to Express Shots. My name is John, and it is Wednesday the 18th, and as promised, I'm going to give Liz White a call from the Animal Protection Party of Canada. I've got my coffee in my hand. I've got my trusty handheld Panasonic phone. I'm going to have a quick swig of this Blue Sky Espresso, and I'm going to give Liz a call. So let's see if she's up and or if somebody's around and we can talk to her. So there we go.
Animal Alliance Animal Protection Party, Liz White speaking.
Hey, good morning, Liz White. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, very good. My name is John Pringle, Liz, and I'm with the show ESN, which is Espresso Shot News out of Westport. And I'm wondering if you might have 2 minutes to talk to me about your platform for the upcoming election in October.
Sure.
So, Liz, I've done a bit of research on you. You've been at it for a while. You ran quite a few times. Can you tell me about kind of what your agenda is and what you're trying to achieve, Liz?
Well, I think we're faced with a crisis with regard to climate change. All the climate scientists are pointing in that direction and saying that we have 12 to 20 years to turn everything around, which means that we have to fundamentally change how we do things in our society. And so our job is to raise that this time and see if we can push the additional part of the agenda, which is what the other parties are not talking about, and that is we also have to deal with animal agriculture in order to meet climate targets, and none of the other parties are really talking about that.
So you guys are not only animal protection, but the environment is part of that component as well. So how do you fit in with the Green Party? How do you align yourselves with those guys?
Well, it's really interesting because the Green Party and their approach and our approach in terms of a comprehensive legislative change to bring us into, to allow society to come into compliance so that we can mitigate the climate crisis. And so the platform is to try and look at what the issues are and what a society might look like if we moved in that direction. And I would argue that the society would begin to diminish the distance between rich and poor, that a guaranteed income would provide people with stability, and I think some of the research at least shows that people's health improves and so on and so forth. So there are other, of course, obvious benefits to that. So our platform looks at that as a comprehensive package, which is what the Green Party does too. That the thing that's missing is that our relationship with animals on the planet, to a large extent, has led us to where we are now. And so we're saying we need to redefine that relationship.
Right. So you started off really as a party of one, and now you have, I think, 14 candidates running across Canada. Is that right, Liz?
We have 18.
You have 18. Oh, that's great.
About 18, yeah.
So it's quite an accomplishment. Now I have a difficult time seeing the Animal Protection Party of Canada as a main governing body in Canada, but I do feel that there's a component that needs to be represented in Parliament federally. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you want to be Prime Minister of Canada?
I think the thing that mitigates us acquiring seats. Oh Lord!
That's okay.
There's one of our cats here who.
I'm just sitting at my desk. Liz has having a coffee myself, so pretty laid back.
Well, in order for us to acquire seats and participate in the legislative debate on regulatory and legislative issues, we really need to have proportional representation, which of course Justin Trudeau promised profusely throughout the last election, and then of course reneged on that promise about a year into his mandate. So, but I think if you look at other countries, for example the Netherlands, they have a party for the animals there. They have about 60 people elected at various levels of government, 5 in their national parliament. There are 3 Animal Protection Party people, not all from Holland, but from others in the European Parliament. And in the Netherlands, they have people at all levels of government who are advocating change. And if you begin to look at their policies, even though haven't got power, clearly, because the assembly is quite large, they have begun to really have a significant impact on the direction that the country is going in terms of animals.
Right.
So, for example, they've made a commitment that by I can't remember what the date is, that they're going to move away to a more sophisticated way of dealing with biomedical research, testing, teaching on animals. So their goal is to get away from animal testing altogether. So that tells you something, because in Canada, of course, we're up at about 4.5 million animals that we use in research now, and the numbers are growing, not going down.
Wow.
So there's no incentive here to make that change, but in Europe, where this party is pushing constantly, that it's clearly making difference.
Yeah, and you advocated as well for the campaign for this in Winnipeg. Obviously, dogs are being sold to animal research. You were part of that campaign as well, right, Liz?
Yes, we won that campaign. That was back a while ago, 2002. But ultimately, the city of Winnipeg canceled their contract with the University of Manitoba, and the dogs and the pound stopped going. And that was probably around 200 to 300 animals a year, around 200, I think, dogs that were being sent to the university and researched on and killed.
So, Liz, is it all about small victories?
Well, yes, I think
right.
If you look at if you look back over time about how things change, how we make decisions, and how society changes, most of the time it's pretty incremental. You know, issues of segregation and slavery, of course, ended, and there was this, momentous time that happened, but that didn't happen. It didn't preclude all of the work that had been done for many, many years by people who were progressive thinkers of the time. And so that's essentially how it changes, and that's why I think the platform is really important. It's out there, it gets people talking, people ask questions, people want to know what it's about. Maybe some people think it's crazy, but I think if you look at the platform, it's based on science, best practices, what's happening elsewhere, what can be done in other countries, and so I think there's a good basis in fact.
Yep. Well, Liz, I commend you for your efforts, and good luck in the election. Hope you get some seats, and I hope you have a chance to kind of get your voice heard as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Have a great day. Enjoy your morning.
Okay, you too.
Well, there you have it. Very nice lady, Liz White. Called her in her, I believe, her home in Toronto area. And that's what she had to say this morning.